If you'd like early access to videos like this, as well as exclusive content, and if you want to just support this channel, then please subscribe to my Patreon. The link is down below, patreon.com/MadisonBrown. Today's video is sponsored by my Patreon. So in the past few years, there's been an influx of girl-specific trends on social media, varying from lifestyle, fashion, beauty, and even food/meal preparation trends. The most recent viral girl trend being girl dinner. A TikTok trend that has garnered so much mainstream attention that companies like Popeyes and Trader Joe's are now marketing some of their already existing food items as girl dinner. The trend started originally from a video by Olivia Mahar back in May where she shares her girl dinner.
I cannot find the TikTok right now, but a girl just came on here and said how, like, in medieval times, peasants had to eat nothing but bread and cheese and how awful that was, and she was like, that's my ideal meal. This is my dinner. I call this girl dinner or medieval peasant.
And then in July, at Karma Pilled on TikTok posted her girl dinner accompanied by an a cappella arrangement conveying the empowerment of girl dinner.
This is my meal. I call this girl dinner. Girl dinner. Girl dinner. Girl dinner. Oh, girl dinner. Toodaloo, you silly goo.
That went absolutely viral, thus boosting girl dinner into the stratosphere of the mainstream. The explosion of this trend has of course sparked a lot of conversation and discourse because a trend can't be a trend without criticism and people overanalyzing such trend and the ramifications of it all. And so of course I'm here to talk about not only girl dinner but the girl language that has erupted online as of late and what that means. I want to dig into the categorization, identity, and marketing of this girl trend that is so vast and layered that has taken over so many fashion and lifestyle trends that you see on TikTok. So let's talk about it. The girlification of it all. So if you want to look at the origins of this girl language and these girl identified trends, I really think it all starts with girl power. Girl power is obviously a very well-known phrase used in the female empowerment feminist movement. Girl power is a slogan that encourages and celebrates women's empowerment, independence, confidence, and strength. The slogan's invention is credited to the US punk band Bikini Kill, who punished a zine called Bikini Kill No. 2, Girl Power, in 1991. It was then popularized in the mainstream by British girl group Spice Girls in the mid-1990s. According to Rolling Stones magazine, the Spice Girls' usage of girl power was one of the defining cultural touchstones that shaped the millennial generation. Girl power is, of course, one of the most largely used and recognized phrases in mainstream feminist media. Girl power has been printed on billions of t-shirts and bumper stickers and has been the inspiration for many a TV show, movies, songs even, especially in the 90s and early 2000s, before it became corny. One of my favorite pieces of girl power media being the iconic song Girl Power by the Cheetah Girls circa 2003. And of course, the term girl power has definitely been met with plenty of criticism, from being too ambiguous and broad to lacking intersectionality and mostly focusing on a Western white girl version of feminism. The discourse of girl power and its representation of modern girlhood has been associated exclusively with Western white girls, conveying the strong message that sassiness, sexual empowerment, individuality, and a consumerist attitude belongs to them and them alone. As a result, girl power remains mired in the hegemonic discourse of sisterhood supported by earlier feminists, which homogenizes all other races, ethnicities, classes, or nations within the one feminist agenda against patriarchy. Another criticism is the consumerist nature of the girl power movement and how its message and purpose evolved into another marketing tactic to sell things to women. One much scrutinized issue of the post-feminist conceptualization of girl power is the aesthetically oriented consumerism that structures it. A consumerism created through mainstream commodification for economic purpose. For example, Godfrey insisted that the girl power's anti-feminist message draws young women's attention to fashion and appearance, an emphasis on style and aesthetics that then becomes a marketing strategy for the culture industry, which uses media to disseminate girl power to every aspect of the cultural arena. Some scholars have therefore questioned the authenticity of such mass-produced merchandised girl power. And this is something I'll discuss a little more in this video later on, is that, things like fashion and beauty are disregarded and are considered shallow and vapid because girls like it. And so whatever girls like is not cool, or it's not interesting, and it doesn't hold any substance. However, I think that the hovering hand of capitalism tends to be a trend throughout the research that I did for this video. No matter the initial intention behind a popularized female empowerment trend, consumerism always takes over and at some point and kind of degrades the concept and induces a major downfall in whatever trend or phrase that is being used to market products to women. And that's really when the phrase or the original concept gets lost and then kind of turns into a joke, because it's just become another way for large corporations to sell things to women under the guise of feminism and girl power, which leads me to my next feminist trend of the hashtag girl boss. So the whole girl boss era was at its peak in the 2010s and of course had its downfall fairly recently in the past few years. So girl boss feminism, similar to girl power feminism, has been met with a lot of criticism because it's perceived as generally just cringy and overplayed and has been ruined by large corporations. Girl boss is a neologism which denotes a woman whose success is defined in opposition to the masculine business world in which she swims upstream. She's the confident and capable woman who is successful in her career, or the one who pursues her own ambitions instead of working for others or otherwise settling in life. Popularized by Sophia Amoruso in her 2014 book Girl Boss, the concept's ethos has been described as convenient incrementalism. The term is conversely used with sarcastic and pejorative undertones to denote women who attempt to raise their professional lives by practicing the same abusive and materialistic practices found in the patriarchal society. In the 2010s, books, films, and TV shows were heavily influenced by the influx of hashtag girl boss culture. There's the show Girl Boss on Netflix, which portrays the story of the OG girl boss, Sophia Amoruso, based on her autobiography hashtag Girl Boss, and it tells the story of how she started her company Nasty Gal and her journey starting her own business. Other shows and movies during this time that I think were influenced by the girl boss trend were shows like Scandal or movies like The Hunger Games, Veep, Devil Wears Prada. There were a lot of movies and shows that emerged at this time that showcased women in powerful positions. And, we still see that now. Like, I don't think women in the workforce or women in power, I don't think it's necessarily like a dying trend, but definitely during this time, during the 2010s, when the whole girl boss trend was at its peak, there was an emphasis on showing women in high places who were ambitious and successful. Being a girl boss was all the rage. Everybody wanted to be a girl boss. The girl boss was aspirational, entrepreneurial, a leader, climbing the corporate ladder shamelessly and ambitiously. But the idea of this hashtag girl boss definitely didn't come without its flaws. The girl boss sentiment on the surface seems supportive of women and their professional goals, but there's still this urge to separate. There's a urge to categorize, She's successful despite being a woman. She's still successful. She's a CEO. She's a girl boss, which is funny because most females who are in the workforce are adult women, not girls. And so why we choose to call ourselves girl bosses, I think, is interesting, and it almost comes off as patronizing and demeaning in a way. No one's looking at a male CEO. No one's calling Elon Musk a boy boss. And if they are, it's a joke, And, it's funny, but, the whole girl boss thing is kind of silly when you think about it, because it's like, you have to differentiate her from other people because she's a woman and she's a successful woman. And that's not to say that we shouldn't shine a light on successful women and the things that they've accomplished, because obviously, there was a time where women couldn't work at all. So celebrating women in all industries is important, but the term girl boss, I think, can seem a little patronizing or demeaning at times. But it doesn't have the same ring as woman boss. you know? And girl boss feminism also has this notion that in order to be a successful woman, in order to be a girl boss, you have to strip yourself of what is traditionally feminine and abandon morality and compassion and integrity. You gotta act like a guy to be a girl boss, to be successful. A lot of girl bosses in media tend to lack empathy and are hard and stoic, which is not traditional for average woman in media or just in daily life. And you know, there have been girl boss villains, you know, girl bosses who girl bossed too close to the sun, as the people say on TikTok. For example, Elizabeth Holmes, a prolific girl boss scammer in the medical industry. And lastly, you know, girl boss feminism is capitalism served up to women on a shiny platter with a cute pink bow on top of it. The idea that a woman is more valuable based on her professional accomplishments, pushing women to run faster in the rat race, is a capitalist dream. It makes women believe that it was their idea to overwork themselves and abandon the traditional feminine roles that women play in society. Girl boss feminism, I think, has influenced people to think that motherhood and homemaking is beneath them and not respectable. If you're a real feminist, then you want to work and you always will put your career first because we're equal to men. When in reality, both lifestyles are equally valuable and important. Being a mother and being a homemaker is a job. It's a really important job if you're raising a child or multiple children. There's nothing wrong with being a wife and staying at home, and there's also nothing wrong with being a career-driven woman who puts her career first and wants to dedicate herself to her job. What I found interesting about the Wikipedia definition of girl boss that I read earlier is that it addressed the downfall and, I guess, memification of the word girl boss. It's not necessarily an empowering word that people take seriously. It's a joke. It's a meme. That's why people say, you know, girl boss, gaslight, gatekeep. Like, no one's actually trying to gaslight and gatekeep, and, you know, girl bossing is in the same category. And I think that's because women have really questioned the idea of girl boss feminism and what it means and if it's worth it. It's like, wait, I actually don't want to climb the corporate ladder or dedicate my whole life to making money for somebody else. Now the sentiment is, I don't dream of labor, and people are tired of working, and we've kind of seen through the capitalist agenda of being a girl boss. And to wrap up this section of the video, I wanted to mention some other girly language and vocabulary that has, I think, influenced the current girl trends that we see today. For example, just girly things. I think that phrase has had an influence on the way we use the word girl. Just Girly Things was a popular Tumblr page that posted various aesthetic photos with matching text overlays on the image saying things like, loving when boys are good with animals, hashtag just girly things, looking forward to crisp air, changing leaves, pumpkin spice lattes, and chilly breeze, hashtag just girly things, sacrificing your boyfriend to Satan and using his skull as a cereal bowl, hashtag just girly things. As you can see, Just Girly Things has been memified to all hell. Any sort of Just Girly Things content you're seeing now are more so on the dark, depressing, cryptic side, like, haven't left my house in 3 days due to crippling anxiety, hashtag just girly things. Another girl meme that I enjoy is like girls when they say I don't care, and it's just like misery and dread. And of course we have other phrases like for the girls, or for the girls and the gays, and hot girl summer, which I really think helped propel this current generation of girl trends. Hot girl summer, of course, was coined by the iconic rapper Megan Thee Stallion back in 2019 with her single Hot Girl Summer, and the term hot girl has become a major phrase within the zeitgeist. Now we have things like hot girl walk, or rat girl summer, feral girl summer. Everything can be a girl, and of course that girl and clean girl. And I would suspect that, I guess, being a rat girl or a feral girl is like a response to the that girl, clean girl trend, which I've talked about on this channel before. And then people say things like girly, like I'm a blank girly. For example, I'm a NYC girly because I live in New York City. Or, you know, Planet Fitness girly, welfare girly, food stamps girly. It could be anything. The list goes on. Now, let's get into the current girl trends now that we've discussed some of the background of girl language. So, girl dinner, let's dive a little deeper into that. What is girl dinner? Girl dinner is essentially a random combination of household food items that does not resemble a well-balanced nutritional meal whatsoever, but is pretty much snacks. It's snacks, just, yeah. Some would say girl dinner is a rebranded depression meal, which I don't fully disagree with. The depression meal meme is similar to girl dinner, where you're basically just throwing together the most low effort meal humanly possible, enough to like keep you going, but doesn't actually require any sort of cooking or flames or oven usage, at the very most a microwave. And then there's like the weirder side of girl dinner where people are saying it's like rebranded anorexia. I don't know what side of TikTok y'all are on, but I'm definitely not on that side of TikTok where people are saying girl dinner is an eating disorder. I hate to see it though. Like, girl dinner is fun. I feel like the varying girl dinners I've seen all are like, they're eating food. Sometimes it's like a beautiful charcuterie board, and sometimes it's like leftover pizza and like some popcorn and like a pretzel. I don't know, but I don't love that there's like a corner of TikTok that has turned girl dinner into something like sad and dark, because I think girl dinner is definitely about eating, but that's just me. And then there's girl math. I don't know if you guys have heard of this girl math, but it's basically, it can be a couple of things. I've seen some people say that it's like cost per wear mentality of like, oh, well, you know, this dress is $100, but if I wear it once a week, then it's not really $100 because, and you can do the math, and I'm not going to do it right now, but it costs however much per wear, you know?
If it's $100 and I wear it once a week, 52 weeks in a year, 100 divided by 52 is
$1.92. So basically, it's like $2. It's not actually $100. If that math is wrong, somehow we can just pretend that didn't happen. Or another example of girl math is like, let's say you're scrolling through the Aritzia website and you see a really cute shirt for $50 and you're like, oh, I really want that shirt, but I'm not gonna buy it. I'm gonna save my money. All of a sudden you've made $50 because you have $50 to spend now because you didn't spend it on that shirt that you saw on Aritzia earlier that day. Right? That makes sense. That's girl math.
You will not believe how much money I saved today. Huge sale. I had to get up crazy early to beat the crowds.
Amanda, buying stuff on sale, that's not exactly saving money.
Isn't it?
No.
Isn't it?
No.
That is girl math. And then lastly, there's like girl rotting. Girl rot doesn't sound fun at all. It's now that I would say is definitely rebranded depression for sure. But you know what? It's not as bad. It's not as serious if it's for the girls, you know? Like, it's cute. It's not depression, it's girl rotting. It's cuter than depression. It's the same thing, but for the girls. And the whole girl-ification of these trends, I think, has the same energy of like romanticize your life and having this like delusional mindset when it comes to how you approach life. Some would say that the girl trend infantilizes women and it's using girlhood or femininity to dumb things down, making it, you know, misogynistic. But I really don't think that's what's happening here. I don't think that's the point. There is this association of girlhood and girliness with weakness and stupidity and shallowness, but I think the use of the word girl in this context holds this idea of frivolity and embraces it with like a sense of sarcasm and self-awareness, because it allows us to embrace girlhood and embrace youth and a carefree mindset, because that's really what we desperately need right now, because being alive is hard in the year 2023, especially if you're a Gen Z millennial person where you're like trying to like build a life for yourself and there's no promise of being able to afford a house or have children or retire or even see your retirement years because the world is burning in front of us. And because life is so hard, we're looking for ways to hold on to whatever youth and freedom that we still have. Woman dinner is sad. The phrase evokes an image of a tired lady having already fed her spouse and children, eating the last scraps of whatever was left over before shoving the plates in the dishwasher. Nobody wants to eat woman dinner. Girl dinner is crucially fun. Pretty much, girls just want to have fun. That's all they really want. So fun. That's all that it is. I could end the video now. This trend keeps people from taking life too seriously and helps us ease the pressure of day-to-day life. That's why you see girls saying like, oh, I'm a 24-year-old teenage girl. Like, we are so desperately trying to grasp onto our youth and halt the process of growing up, because growing pains these days are far more painful than it was back in the fucking 90s. Under patriarchy, women have accepted that their youth has far more social capital in a world where men have made youth synonyms with beauty. In combination with the normalization of what psychologist Erik Erikson termed extended adolescence, that many young people are waiting, either by choice or necessity, until later in life to attain traditional markers of adulthood. The result of this combination is a feeling of perpetual girlhood, incongruent with society's expectations. A lot of this girl language, is kind of just rebranding adulting. How can we make fitness and physical health fun? Call it a hot girl walk. How can we make being a remote digital assistant fun and cute? Call it a lazy girl job. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Maybe girl dinner isn't even just a psychological response to late stage capitalism, but also a financial one. Everything is so expensive these days, people can barely afford eggs. So if anything, girl dinner is all we have. It's all we can afford. A handful of potato chips and some sardines from the back of our pantry. I've noticed as of late there's been a real emphasis and an embracing of girlhood, traditional girlhood. Because, typically what is considered classically feminine or girly is oftentimes regarded as shallow and vapid and frivolous with no substance or value regarding the consumer as such. Enjoying something like a chick flick is considered shameful and lowbrow for both men and women. And so the less feminine something is, the cooler it is. If girls like it, it's not cool. Look at boy bands, pop music, nail polish, the color pink. But with the rise of girls and anti-pick-me discourse online, women are embracing girlhood and girliness now more than ever. It's cool to like pink. It's cool to engage in traditionally feminine activities like doing your nails or putting on a face mask. We are embracing femininity and taking back the power and pride of being a woman, of being a girl. I also think this is why bimbofication has become a thing. Wearing pink and mini skirts and wearing your nails long, it's cool again, and people want to be overtly feminine again, because for so long we have suppressed that, and we've been taught to turn away from what is traditionally feminine to be considered cool. But now we're oh, that's stupid, that's so pick me, not like other girls' behavior. So now it's coming back in full swing. The foundations of girl power can be traced to the 1950s, when girlhood became a more important and defined cultural category in the wake of World War II. Advertisers capitalizing on the baby boom began marketing to girls as a distinct group with its own unique needs and interests. Despite girls' growing consumer power and influence on pop culture, girlhood was still rarely taken as seriously as boyhood. Commercials, magazines, music, television shows, and movies often depicted boyhood as a period of adventure, rebellion, and independence, and girlhood as a state of frivolity, dependence, and unimportance. I think Barbie and the success of the Barbie movie has really shown us how much girls and women desire this unapologetic expression of femininity and enjoying the girliness of it all. Girls just want to live in a girl world where we can enjoy girly things with the girls, And I'm here for it. I get it. Oh, to be a girl and not to be judged for it. But speaking of Barbie, we can't discuss all of the girl trends without addressing the elephant in the room, which is marketing and branding. Because the girlification of these trends have made marketing products to women so easy. easier than ever. And the commodification of girlhood and feminism has been a thing for a while now. Like I mentioned previously with the hashtag girl boss trend, girl power, girl dinner, all of this girl stuff, when it comes down to it, is marketing. For one, a solid percentage, if not most of the people participating in and discussing girl trends are women, which therefore makes it feel slightly infantilizing and icky, and like, why should 30-year-olds care what type of girl they are? Shouldn't we have figured ourselves out by now? You could make the argument that pathologizing the things women and girls do smells a bit too strongly of gender essentialism. You could say that labeling normal human behavior as girl-coded only authorizes women in the already patriarchal world. But I would argue that both miss the point, because these supposed girl trends aren't really trends at all. They're marketing campaigns. At the end of the day, it seems like all roads lead to consumerism. It's inescapable no matter what era, no matter what the trend is, as long as something can be reworked to market products to women, companies will do it. They will take it and they will use it to their advantage and convince women to buy things and prey on their insecurities and appeal to their consumerist urges. The underlying consumerism built into girl trends needs acknowledgement. For instance, to be that girl requires expensive gym memberships, fresh foods, athleisure wear, and beauty products that most can't afford. Girl math is literally the act of rationalizing consumerism under capitalism, rebranded as a cutesy girl activity. While many girl dinners are about showcasing and even romanticizing the art of cheap and lazy meals, the overly aestheticized nature of many of these videos push specific standards of beauty, lifestyle, and femininity that encourage comparison between lifestyles as well as disordered eating. While the chumminess of girl trends may feel subversive, how subversive can something using gendered solidarity to rebrand toxic standards really be? Within these girl trends, there seems to be a consistent theme of self-renewal and reinvention, a rebrand. We see this in the that girl trend specifically, but also within the constant conveyor belt of a new feminine aesthetic that is pumped out every single day on TikTok. The coastal country girl, the vanilla girl, the strawberry girl, the quiet luxury Sophia Richie aesthetic girl. Like, there's always a new era to be debuted. There's always a new version of yourself to be created and rebranding. I mean, people are literally treating themselves as if they are a brand when they're just a human being, but they're like, oh, it's time to rebrand as this aesthetic, because there's constantly a new aesthetic that is being pushed onto us. And of course, with every aesthetic, with every rebrand, there is a binging and purging of products. Out with the old, in with the new, buy, buy, buy. On the trajectory of this new gender identity focused on beauty and style, Roberts, in a study on refurbishing the post-feminist body through the TV show What Not to Wear, highlighted girls' beautifying practice as an embodiment of the image self that provides a sense of empowerment. Specifically, he observed that a young woman's body can be transformed into a new self, being beautified through consumption by checking out ill-suited clothes and replacing them with new ones. Such a self-renewal project reinforces discovery and embodies a more authentic, true self that is consumer-oriented. Based on this observation, he proposed that post-feminism articulates a model of feminine identity unthinkable outside of consumption and constructs a logic in which empowerment, perhaps the essential tenet of post-feminist ideology, is shown as dependent on self-confidence and sexual attractiveness, which in turn depends on the services of the fashion and beauty industries, all of which, needless to say, must be purchased. So there's this idea that in order to achieve self-improvement, you have to buy things. There's no like self-improvement without purchasing. And it's not really about, looking within or really doing inner work on making yourself a better version of you, but it's really about getting rid of old clothes that don't fit you well and buying new ones and buying new beauty products that will turn you into that girl, into the clean girl. And keep in mind, the quote I just read to you was a criticism on girl power. So that's a concept that started in the 90s, but we still see this recurring theme throughout girl trends. In the article, they talked about this Korean beauty blogger, influencer type person who apparently displayed narcissistic ideas about self-improvement and beautification, and there's like this self-obsession that comes with it. But this beautification isn't for the male gaze, it's for her own enjoyment. They said that this level of narcissism or self-centeredness is a result of neoliberal capitalist reinforcement of individualism, which I think that string of words perfectly describes what's happening here with these super niche trends that emerge on TikTok every week. You know, I think Gen Z loves a label. Gen Z loves to put themselves into a category and to find identity and individuality through these niche aesthetics, and it gives them a sense of identity and personality and like a false sense of self-actualization. And that's why we have these hyper niche fashion and beauty trends like blueberry milk nails and cinnamon toast crunch surprise toenails and breast milk cream skin, American Girl doll winter, jaundice yellow lemon glow foundation. I'm just making things up obviously at this point, but honestly, if I heard American Girl doll winter on TikTok, I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be like, yeah, of course that's a thing that people are doing now. I'd love to know what you guys think of all these trends and the girlification of it all. At the end of the day, you know, you can have fun with trends. No one's saying like, oh, like if you buy into any of these trends or participate in it, you're being brainwashed and you're a victim of consumerism and a slave to capitalism. Like, it's all in good fun, especially the whole girl dinner thing. I think it's whatever, but like many trends, sometimes it goes too far and it gets annoying, and then it's like, next. Because I'm sure someone in the comments is gonna be like, God, just let people enjoy things. Yeah, of course, enjoy things. But also, I think this is a very interesting conversation. The girlification of it all seems to be a very layered subject with interesting origins and implications. And now I'm just talking, so let me know what you guys think in the comments, and if you'd like to girl subscribe to this girl YouTuber, please do that. Listen to my girl music and join my girl Patreon. Thank you very much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.